Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. This is a big one for me, personally. I've been a huge fan of Pearl Jam since they came out 30 years ago. They're one of those few bands that I've come across in my life. The only one I could, maybe Killers, where over the years somehow they've gotten better to me. Not necessarily their music. Their older music has gotten better to me. The more I listen to it, the deeper I go, the more it connects. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Eddie's lyrics that, when I'm 20 years old, they don't connect to me the way they do now that I'm 48 years old. I don't know what it is, but they've gotten deeper and deeper like a worm, boring into my soul. And as they've gotten to this point in my life, it's interesting. When I was younger, I liked their heavier stuff better. And as I got older, my appreciation for the slower, the ballads, the Black, the Release, the Yellow Ledbetter, the Indifference, the Nothing Man, Better Man. I mean, those songs go so deep in my soul, and 30 years later, I can never get enough listening to those ballads. I don't know what it is about them. I can't describe it. I can't explain it. I'm just telling you, if I hear those ballads, if I'm in a certain mood and I hear those things, nothing speaks to my soul like Eddie Vedder's voice. I cannot explain it, and thank God I have that in my life. I love it. Doesn't take away from the rest of their music. It doesn't take away from their monster ballads, the rock stuff, the heavy stuff. It just rounds out the band for me so much as I got older. I don't know. Can't explain it. So I've been going to concerts since I'm in 5th grade. My first concert was Beastie Boys' Run DMC. That's how old I am. It was Licensed to Ill Raising Hell, which I'm very proud of that I went to that. And for some reason, just based off of life circumstances, I've always missed Pearl Jam when they came around. If I was living in New York, that was the time they didn't play New York. If I was living in L.A., that's the time they didn't play L.A. I finally had tickets for a couple years ago here in Vegas, and the two of the guys got COVID, and they canceled the show. They have been number one. I have a mental list of bands I'd like to see before I die, and it's been dwindling. There's really not that many bands left. Tom Petty was always number one for me until we lost him, which sucks. Pearl Jam was number two, and then after that, there's like a far distance for anything else. When Tom died, Pearl Jam became the number one band that I have to see before I die. When they announced that they were coming for 2 nights in Vegas, I lost my fucking mind. I crossed my fingers. I prayed to God that nothing goes wrong this time, and it didn't. And last night, I finally popped my cherry. I finally lost my Pearl Jam virginity, and I got to see these guys live. And with that much anticipation, there was a real fear in my soul that maybe it wouldn't live up to the hype, because I've heard so much hype. Forget what I want to see and how much I want to see them live. The hype I've heard from other friends who've seen them is that they're so good live, and I was nervous. I was nervous it wouldn't work out. So that's my Pearl Jam background. As far as the band background itself, I don't have to explain that to you. The grunge scene, the Pearl Jam at the top of it, the tragic end to, I always use the words Mount Rushmore a lot in my reviews. There is no more of a Mount Rushmore when it comes to grunge than those guys. And you know exactly who they are. And unfortunately, they're all gone except for Eddie, mostly except for Eddie. That I believe that puts a lot of weight on him. You could see it in his eyes. I mean, you can hear it in his voice. He's always a serious guy, but that's a heavy load to carry. You're the last of that dinosaurs that's carrying this torch. And what's interesting with grunge music, I think, just like my experience with Pearl Jam, I think grunge has gotten better. I don't know if just music's gotten shittier, but you go back and when you hear Nirvana, when you hear Soundgarden, when you hear Alice in Chains, when you hear Mother Love Bone, when you hear any of those bands, even the ones that weren't like huge, it's really good music. These guys were really talented. Blind Melon, I love Blind Melon. The music itself is so deep. These guys literally were singing from their souls, from their hearts, their broken minds, their broken souls, their addictions, and it came through in the music, and it's lasted. And I don't know. Anyway, that's so Eddie is the last of those dinosaurs. Again, I mentioned Blind Melon. Shannon was another one. Shannon, Chris, Kurt, Lane, all these guys. It's really Andrew. It's just crazy. It's the story of grunge is absolutely crazy. Anyway, okay, enough. Now let's get to the show. I'm going to start with the set list. So Eddie is known for putting on long shows, which I think he said he's going to scale back a little bit this year, which I think he did for this tour, this Dark Matters tour, their new album. But he's also known for changing the set list every single show and playing whatever the fuck he wants to play, and he doesn't care. And if he wants to play the same song 4 nights in a row, he will, or he won't play a song that everybody wants to hear for a year or two. But he writes the set list. He mentioned during the show this is one of those set lists he wrote in the middle of the night. Let me get through it. I'm going to run through the set list real quickly. Sometimes, Hard to Imagine, Black, third song in. So I'm going to stop here, and I want to talk about Black. Because I mentioned before, I have a very special connection with the ballads, and Black is top 1 or 2 for me. I can honestly say, and this was the third song into a show that I was nervous would be overly hyped. I don't know what it was for me. That song, Black, live, could have been one of the best single songs I've ever seen live in a concert. I had goosebumps all over Eddie sounded perfect. The crowd was thunderous singing along with it. It was thunderous. I don't know what other word. I kept thinking of a word when I was driving home. It was thunderous. It was haunting. Everybody was, their fists were clenched. Everybody in the crowd had their eyes closed. Everybody in the crowd was looking up at the sky and just singing along with Eddie. And those lyrics to the song are crazy. And Eddie sounded perfect. And we were 3 songs in. And it took me 2 or 3 songs after that to kind of, I can't explain it. It was just an unbelievable experience. I was ready to go home after that. But you can't, because you don't know what Eddie's going to play next. So Black last night was just special for me. Hail, Hail, Scared of Fear, React, Respond, Wreckage. He did Daughter, and then somewhere at the end of Daughter, he snuck in Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall. Dark Matter, Wish List, Break or Fall, Running, Even Flow, Upper Hand, Waiting for Stevie, Tremor Christ, Lukin, Porch. Then they they left the stage, they came back, they did a long encore. He did Maybe It's Time, which is a Jason Isbell cover. Inside Job, Do the Evolution, Corduroy, Breath, Alive, Yellow Ledbetter, and close with Setting Sun. 26 songs. So here's my take on this. I think the sound that comes off that stage is incredible. The sound that comes out of Eddie is incredible. The energy that comes out of the band is incredible. The band members were just, they've been doing it so long. You can see they're still friends. I think they're friends. They seem to work well with each other. No matter what is on this set list, whether you're a fan of just the hits of Pearl Jam, if you're a mediocre fan and you know some of the deeper cuts, but not all the deeper cuts, if you're a real hardcore fan, you know deep cuts, I feel like Eddie Vedder has a real responsibility and a real task, because it's not easy. I don't want that job where you have to write a set list, and he changes it, so he does it every day. You have to write a set list that is going to make everybody happy. So if you only know the big hits, if you only know the even flows and Alive, you're still really going to enjoy the show, because everything else just sounds like Pearl Jam. Even if you don't know it, it's such a pleasure to watch it. And if you hate the fucking hits, if you're a diehard and you hate Alive and you hate Even Flow and you don't want to hear them, he throws enough in there for you to make you happy. It's part of his talent. It's almost like songwriting. He has to sit and come up with a perfect set list every night. Why he chores himself with that task and just doesn't pick one, I think it's a testament to their catalog. Their catalog is so big and it's so good, and he's still an artist and loves singing his stuff that he wants to sing all of his songs. He doesn't just want to sing Alive and Even Flow and Jeremy and all that stuff. I'm lucky. He's doing 2 gigs in Vegas. He mentioned last night it's the smallest venue of the whole tour, which is cool. Smaller the better as far as I'm concerned. So he's playing tonight and they're playing Saturday night. So whatever I am missing, which I mentioned because I'm a little baby, I like the ballads. I got a couple in. We got Yellow Ledbetter. Even though in Yellow Ledbetter, I wish he would have just sat there with the guitar and sang. He had all the house lights on and he was like throwing what are those called? The thing you bang with the little cymbals on it. I forgot. Tambourine. He was banging tambourines and then handing them into the crowd while he was singing Ledbetter. I would have loved for the lights to have been off. The way he did Maybe It's Time, where it was just him and a guitar on stage, I wish he would have done Ledbetter like that. It would have hit me more and hit me harder, but I'll take it. I'm going to take it. But I think Saturday night, I'm going to get Better Man. I've seen YouTube videos. You should Google it. YouTube video, I think it's at Madison Square Garden, or there's a bunch of them, where he's singing Better Man and the crowd is singing along, and it's haunting. It's awesome. And I want that experience so bad. And I think I'll get it Saturday night. I think he'll do better, man. I think maybe he'll do Indifference, hopefully. So having 2 nights, really, Vegas lucked out. We're going to get double the amount of songs, which is awesome, and I cannot wait for Saturday night. But let's talk about last night again. It would have been perfection if the song, not that he would have played more hits, because that's what I normally say. If he played the songs that I wanted to hear, because it's such a crapshoot. You don't know what's coming out of his mouth next. In your head, you're like, oh, I hope he does this, and I hope he does that, and I hope he does this. So if you happen to get on a night where he does a set list that's catered to you, it's a fucking 10 out of 10 show. It's perfection. If you get tonight where the songs that you really want to hear, there's other songs, not just ballads. I love songs like Sirens. I love, there's so much Pearl Jam I love. So if you like, you're going to get stuff you like. There's no doubt about it. But I think some nights you get really lucky, and it's just he is singing. He picked the songs that night that are your favorites. You are going to lie. So between both nights, I think I'm going to get everything I want, or most of the things I want. Scale of 1 to 10, for me, easy 9 points. I'm going to give 9.8. 9.8. I think if there were a couple more songs that were my songs, not that the songs that he played I didn't like, that if they were just for me, it would have been maybe a 10 out of 10. It would have been a 9.9 for sure. But I loved it. I still loved it, and I still cannot wait to go back Saturday night. I'm so excited. I didn't get bored for 1 second of the show. The crowd was awesome. Kudos to the guy who was updating the set list. I love you guys. There's someone at the show that's updating the set list during the show, song by song, which I love. If that's you, thanks for listening, and keep up the good work. But the crowd was so excited. The crowd was awesome. It's a Pearl Jam family. It's a Pearl Jam community. I want to be part of it. I hope he comes to Vegas more. Right now, that's last night. It's a great show. I loved it. I can't wait for Saturday night. If you were there, leave some comments. Let me know what you think. Please subscribe. I really want to build this up. And I will see you at the next show. Next one's going to be cool. I'm going to Grateful Dead, Dead and Company, whatever you want to call them, at the Sphere tonight. So that should be pretty awesome. Thanks for listening. See you at the next show. Bye-bye.